Hello everyone and welcome to the city of Esbjerg on the southwest coast of Denmark and the Gruyère World European Curling Championships 2015. More than 70,000 people live here and it boasts one of the world's, indeed Denmark's, longest pedestrian streets. 200 shops along here. The action is all happening at the Granley Hockey Arena, which hosted the Women's World Curling Championship 2011. We're on to the men's session 5 now, and our featured draw is Norway against the Czech Republic. Can Norway keep up their 100% record so far in this round robin? I'm Alison Walker, and alongside me is Logan Gray, and we'll be bringing you live commentary on the whole of this game, plus updates from elsewhere. Teams just being introduced to the audience, and here they are. For Norway, the lead, Havard van Pittersen. At second, Christopher Sva. Their third player is Torgen Ergaard. And the Norwegian skip, Thomas Olsrud, alternate Sander Rovag, Petamo, the coach. For the Czech Republic, we have Erik Sik as lead. At second, Thomas Paul. Their third player, Radek Bohac. And their skip, the experienced David Sik. Christoph Jalupek, their alternate. And Brad Askew, the coach for the Czech Republic. That's the standings thus far. As you can see, Norway leading the way, 100% record. Sweden and holding it up there, 3-1. Czech Republic, Finland and Germany on 2-2. So Norway looking impressive thus far. Russia and Switzerland, 2-2 as well. Italy, the Dutch and Scotland, 1-3. Elsewhere in the arena tonight, we have Russia against Germany. On sheet A, it's Netherlands, Scotland. Sheet D, Switzerland are playing the Finns. And the other game is Sweden against Italy. So that's us underway in this first end. And Logan, how do you think this one will go?
I think all the evidence points towards Norway, doesn't it? Looking imperious so far this week, on 4 wins and no losses. Twice European champion in recent years. And just a formidable lineup, really. The Czech Republic team. David Sik, the only player who's actually played at the European Championships before. And that's not since 2005. Yeah, I should have played with Eric as well there, but yeah, they don't have a great track record at this level. They do have some good performances on the World Curling Tour, however, and they can be quite a sticky team to play against, I would say. So certainly don't discount David Sik, but definitely I think this is a 9 out of 10 game for the Norwegians.
And yet what a scalp it would be if they were to take it, this Czech team.
Yeah, we're so used to seeing Jiří Sneetail out on the ice representing the Czech Republic. Not present this year. Well, I think we can expect to see the Norwegians be reasonably aggressive in this game. They know that they're probably the better equipped team.
Rules of play for you, 6 ends minimum and 38-minute thinking time. The Norwegians sporting their rather nice flowery combination of trousers.
Havard van Pittersen makes the hit and stick. Certainly one of the most consistent performers, the Norwegian team skipped by Thomas Ulsrud.
This is Thomas Paul, who's 27, 11 years a curler. He's an economic analyst from Prague, the youngest member of the team.
And makes a nice hit and roll in behind cover. Just pokes maybe 2/3 of a stone out the other side. Should be accessible from the hack for Christopher Sva.
First stone from Sva, 33 years old now, 22 years a curler. From Oslo.
Oh, beautifully done. Manages to get the inside edge. That red stone is sitting on the button at the moment, so although it is a good shot from Thomas Ulsrud, it does present an opportunity for the Czech team to make the freeze and really close down that scoring area for the Norwegians.
Do you change your game, Logan, according to who you're playing, knowing the pedigree of the Norwegian team?
Certainly think it's a consideration. I don't think you want to change too much from your game plan, but I think the Norwegians, they're so good at playing an aggressive game, and if you're really playing that well with lots of good stone placement and touch shots, it's going to force the opposition to play difficult shots, and you're going to get misses, and that is their game plan for every single game. So expect them to do more of the same today.
Yep, been pretty effective so far this week from Team Norway. They will take the game right to the Czech Republic.
I think quite often it's the less experienced team who perhaps needs to adapt their game plan to suit the opposition they're playing against. They'll know that this the Czech Republic team will know that this Norwegian team are very good with the touch shots, especially Thomas Ulsrud. So I don't think they'll want to get too involved and leave too many stones lying around for fear of giving up a big end at some point.
Here we have Radek Bohac, 37 years old. The third player for the Czech Republic. He works in tourism, bringing British tourists to the Czech Republic on holiday.
Oh, it's a super shot. That was a bit of a worldie, that one.
Technical term. You can tell by his reaction.
Yeah, that's a good confidence builder to start the game. I think he knew his team was in a spot of bother there.
And they've got some wins on the board they've been enjoying this week, the Czech team. Torgen Ergaard, the third for Norway. Seems to have been around forever. Once I hear broke a curling stone, Logan. Must be very strong.
Yeah, twice actually. I heard we've been told by our colleague Sander that he broke one recently, chipped about a fifth of a stone off playing a peel, and another time he actually split it in half, like almost like a burger, he said.
And now his name is Thorgar, apparently. So there we go.
Well, he can also play the soft shots as well, as he proved there with that excellent come around.
So Radek Bohac's second stone.
Yeah, this one should be straightforward in comparison to the first one he played. So just peels the guard and opens up that shot stone. And Thomas Ulsrud just indicating that they'd like to come around the corner guard. So they're choosing to play the takeout instead. Two different ways of getting the same result, really. They're leaving the opportunity for the Czech team to try and make that hit and roll on the centre line and behind the yellow guard.
Not too much bother there. Torgen Ergaard, engineer from Oslo.
So David Sik is going to play that hit and roll, the 44-year-old left-handed player.
Project manager from Prague. 21 years curling on this team. So he's been around a long time. First played in the Europeans in 1995.
Yeah, a very long career and extremely passionate curler as well.
And the best this team have done, the Czechs, is 8th position in Flims in Switzerland in 1998.
I've got to say the Czech curling has come a long way since 1998, especially with some of the performances of Jiří Sneetil, but also in the junior ranks as well. A lot of strong teams coming through there, and the women's team's really performing well at the World Junior stage. So perhaps we can expect to see Czech Republic featuring more often in the playoff stages in years to come.
And this man, Thomas Ulsrud, has been there and done it. He's still competing at the highest level. He's still as hungry for success as ever was. I think he's sporting a new haircut this year.
Yeah, very smart indeed. And that was a very smart hit and roll there as well by Thomas. There you go, splendid haircut.
Yep. I think some good gel on there.
Oh, so
slightly more clean cut there from the Czech skip. Well, they're on TV. All the players looking very smart indeed.
So that's the aiming point for David Sik. Playing the safe hit and roll really out in the wing here. I think it's really good. They might be able to hit and roll into a shot position, but I think this is more damage limitation here. Didn't fancy the risk of playing a shot on that centre line, making a freeze on the shot stone or even a run back.
And maybe not in the first end.
No, absolutely. You don't want to give up 3 to these guys. Falling 2 behind is still, you can still turn that around, but losing a 3 early on would be a big setback for the Czech Republic team. So, smart call.
Goes through his routine before his delivery. Milestone of this first end.
Easy. Se beinar ut for meg.
Mixture of the Norwegian and the English. No bother with this one. Safely in for 2 after the first end. Norway 2, Czech Republic 0.
So into the second end then of our feature game between Norway and the Czech Republic. Norway with the advantage after taking 2 in that first end.
Yeah, and I might be wrong, but I think it was 100% end there from the Norwegians. Sander and I spoke earlier today about the importance of making hit and rolls and just how much pressure you can put on your opposition by doing that. It's certainly not a gimme, but if you can start making these shots, then it can just be a game winner on its own.
Yep, and it's the simple things, isn't it? The simple executions that can make the difference. It doesn't always have to be the dramatic shots.
Yeah, and that's certainly something this Norwegian team does, is they just play the simple shots and they make them well, and that puts teams under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, they seem to know exactly when, where and how long. It's almost like a machine, isn't it?
Yeah, very well oiled one. There's no mucking about at lead stones either. They know exactly what the next shot's going to be, so it's all pre-planned on the practice sheet.
And that's years of experience, and with the same team as well. It does make a huge difference.
Oh, absolutely. But so they maybe spent about 3 or 4 seconds of thinking time there, making that call for Håvard's second stone. That's exactly what you need, and of course that just banks more time for you to spend on the really important calls later on.
That's because is there a time element to this game? Can't really afford to hang about too much in the early stages. Oh. Just a couple of millimeters past that stone for the Czech Republic.
A little bit of a dilemma here for Thomas Hulsrud. The 2-shot lead, it would be easy to go and peel the guard and not really give the Czech team any hope in this end to score multiple points, but so early in the game, it's not really worth defending a 2-shot lead, so opting to throw the centre guard here.
This Norway team have experienced so many situations in their years of curling. You wonder if there's anything new for them.
Well, it's all about that Olympic gold medal, isn't it, really? They've done everything else now. Of course, got the Olympic silver in 2010.
Yeah, it's that one last surge.
Oh, super shot.
Gets things moving in the house. Beams the guard.
Yeah, great shot here by Thomas Powell. Gets all 3 reds moving. Doesn't quite get that 3rd red out of the house, this one just here. But certainly opens up the scoring area. And things look a lot rosier than they did before he came to play, that's for sure.
Always just got to keep hanging on to the Norwegian coattails.
Well, especially at the moment when the Norwegians are placing every single shot inch perfect, and here's another one.
Yep. Nicely done from Kristoffer Sva. So let's check on elsewhere. The Sweden-Italy game in the first end. Amos Mozenar with the last stone for Italy.
Super effort. Tries to get 3 reds moving, but just jams that last one. And it's a steal for Sweden in the first end. One end played, and it's Sweden 1, Italy 0.
Not hugely happy with that effort there.
No, it was extremely close, but just a marginal miss, and leaves another guard really to block the way into the forefoot for the Czech team with their last stone. Norway will just continue to try and block things up.
Nesten bite. Ja, pass på at ikke blir hørt. Nei, det er kult. Det er kult nå. Litt til da, litt til da. Litt til da.
Another well-placed stone from Torgen Ergaard. And there is the Czech Republic coach, Brad Askew.
Certainly not a Czech Republic national. I'm not sure what nationality he is these days, whether he's Canadian or Irish or Scottish or what. But yeah, a new addition to this Czech team, that's for sure. Chinese, I think that's the last place he was.
He's been applying his expertise around the world.
No, another good effort at the run back, and just flicks that back one as well.
I do like his hat, Peter Moe of Norway. Another one, well placed. Asking questions of this Czech team.
Yeah, maybe a foot too far from being super critical, but still very nice shot all the same. It's the first time in a while, though, that the Czech Republic team have had the chance to play a shot to get into shot position. They've been just having to rattle guards back for the last few stones.
Yeah, they've had to react as opposed to being proactive. So let's see what he can manage here.
Oh, moves that red stone back a little bit and certainly puts that yellow in a useful position and behind the guard, but doesn't do enough to lie shot.
Yep, red stone of Norway still counting.
Egentlig bare opp til senter. Ja. Nå litt mer, eller? Ja. Ok, nå kommer dit også, så ikke jeg blir hørt. Det går bra. Vi jobber den fint. Det er fin fart her? Ja. Tor holder. Hold den oppe, altså. Det er glappere der enn hit. Usikker på om jeg kan holde den som jeg. Hvor lang er? Masse plass, masse plass. Masse plass. Er du ikke kan på fart? Håvard holder rein.
It was quite a vocal team, Norway, aren't they? A lot of chat going on.
Well, that's what you want, to be honest. Alison, constant information getting passed around. And as you suggested earlier on, this team know exactly how to make each other tick as well, what information everybody needs to put the stones in the right spots in the end.
Thomas didn't look 100% happy with that. Just, that seemed pretty good to me.
Well,
what's David Seek looking at?
Yeah, he's got a couple of options here. He could just play the draw round onto the button, or he could play some sort of a run back on that red stone just played by NOR-CZE, but dangerous. Electing the draw in the end.
And probably the sensible option at this stage.
Yeah, it's a must make though. If you don't make this, you're certainly not going to score in the end. Oh, is he past the guard?
I see it curling now. Ooh. What do we think?
Det bedre da å...
Which one is it? Yellow and red.
Certainly looks yellow. Looks like the yellow is just cutting that blue ring around the button there. The Czech Republic stone. I don't think Thomas Sewell should be too concerned about moving that yellow stone to lie two. If they could get one in onto the button though, it's going to be almost impossible for the Czech Republic to score. It's nice backing though. If they do come down and just bump that one back and lie two, that's also a good result. But if they do play that, then it may be a little bit easier for the Czech team to score.
He wants to put as much pressure on David Seek as possible with this stone. So we'll see where it finishes.
6-7. Linja bra, linja bra, linja bra. Bare fart, 7, 6-7. Linja bra, bare fart. 7, linja der. 7, 6, 7, 7, 7, 8.
Ja, på linje, ja. Ja,
And that definitely asks the question.
Yeah, and I think that was a decision that was made on the way down the ice. Maybe it had a little bit too much weight, but good communication from the sweepers. Still got an excellent result out of that shot. And that was always the side that Thomas NOR-CZE was going to error on. Still a tough job here for David Seek to score.
A lot of obstacles in his way there.
Well, the one thing that's going to be working in David's favour here is that he is a lefty. He's got a slightly better angle to get in at that red stone in the button, but still tough shot. I've not seen the stones curling that hard at the finish here.
Two reds counting there for Norway. Important stone for David Seek in this second end.
Well, the crucial thing here is to get a piece of the button and at least reduce the Norwegians to 1. Sweepers are having to go really hard in this one.
It's not going to make it, is it? It's not going to make it.
It's a shame he had the line to.
It was on its way, but just not enough on it. It's a huge disappointment there for the Czech Republic. Steal of 2 for Norway, and it's now Norway 4, Czech Republic 0 after 2 ends.
Ja. Det her din død å se. Så veldig hardt, eller?
Into the third end now
Løs, der!
of this featured game between Norway and the Czech Republic. Norway very much the pre-game favourites, and has all gone according to plan for them.
Bra, Kosta.
4-0 down Logan after 2 ends. It's not a great position for the Czech Republic, is it?
No, it really isn't. I think their game plan would have been to not have too many stones in play and kind of try and run the game tight for as long as possible. But they've really just got off to the worst possible start, and they've actually played quite well. They've made a lot of good shots, but the Norwegians, their setup play has just been absolutely impeccable in the first 2 ends. And to be perfectly honest, the Czech Republic team just can't live with it at the moment.
Okay. Det tomt.
They maybe need just a little slip up from Team Norway, but they certainly haven't looked like they're going to do that so far. But it does happen.
Yeah, well, there was a little bit of a slip up with Håvard Rudd Pettersson's first stone here. You would have expected him to be throwing it into the house. Comes up short of the rings. No, perfect stone to follow up though. Good adjustment from Rudd Pettersson.
Ja, men den her har jeg liksom. Kjell, ser den! Stenen. Er det bra? Mista hodně. Hodně místa. Kam jedem? Pojď se rum, pojď se rum. No už, tam nejde. Ne. Trakty rotaci jsme měli. Han kör ikke på den andra, men prøv å køle helt opp.
Well, Norway do have the option here to kind of open things up, the 4-shot lead, but deciding to keep the foot down here.
Nok fart, tror jeg. Helst ikke, tror jeg.
Ok, hva da? Håvard rent! Håvard rent! Håvard, hold rent! Håvard! Bare Håvard! Håvard, du må inn! Håvard, du må gå! Bra.
A lovely shot there. Leaves that red stone directly in line in front of that yellow stone.
Men det var greit å fikk den løs, da.
Let's see what's happening elsewhere. We have Russia against Germany, second end.
Yeah, here's Alex Baumann with a takeout to score a possible 2 points here in the second end. Important game for both teams, sitting on 2 wins and 2 losses.
Yep, kind of mid-table.
Well, and perfectly done.
Yep, and they're pleased with that. 2-0 lead after 2 ends for the German side. This is our feature game, Norway against the Czech Republic. Alison Walker and Logan Gray bringing you live commentary from Esbjerg in Denmark. And this is going a bit. And away it goes.
Yeah, it's certainly what Chris Va's renowned for, is the big weight run backs. Just a little bit errant with that one. Gets a nice roll in behind the centre stones. And Norway looking in a strong spot at the moment. Even when they miss, they get a good result.
2 centimeter høyt der, hadde ikke vært bra. Det har gått mye eget.
But you make your own luck, don't you?
Ja, så fast.
It all pans out.
Místo dobrý. Jenom 3-4.
Počkej. Točí hodně.
Well, this needs to be spot on.
Okay.
Just rolls out into the open. Czech Republic line shot stone at the moment, with the one just to the left of the centre line.
Det er ikke noe bra, det er ikke krise.
Men da har absolutt køl der.
Spill vanlig kjapp.
Pil!
Pil selvfølgelig, kjapp. Jepp. Hardt! Hardt, da! Hardt! Hardt! Hardt!
Well played from Torgen Ergaard, clearing those 2 yellows. And the Czech Republic have to try and build again.
No, I don't think this one's going to be a case of building, maybe deconstructing perhaps, but
Damage limitation.
yeah, absolutely. There's it's just not really a good spot here for the Czech Republic to make an offensive call. So they're just going to try and make sure they score in this end. Something they've not been able to do so far.
They need to get at least a point on the board if they can. He shakes his head.
Yeah, the angles in there are just horrible for the Czech team. There's just no opportunity really to remove the 2 reds closest to the forefoot, so really going to need to pull a big shot out at some point if they want to score. The good news for the Czech Republic at the moment is that the whole left-hand side of the sheet, as we look at it just now, is wide open for a final draw, and they just have to hit the forefoot to score.
Håvard, du må gå litt fram.
Ikke dø, vi skal hit, Håvard. Så krysses
Det er greit, det er greit. Nei, det er forbi kossen, forbi kossen.
Kom igjen.
Nei, det er greit. Bra. Perfekt, da.
Co? Pojď tak, nebo...
And there you have that army almost of red stones congregating, protecting.
Hej, se zasekne.
What's the call here, Logan?
I think the call was smash as much red granite as possible. Alison, I think David, more out of optimism rather than good judgment, was suggesting that the throwing stone might slide off one of the wide guards and into the house, but I don't see it happening. Certainly gets a few red stones moving. So slight improvement to the situation.
Certainly gives the Czechs a little more scope for their next couple of stones, but it all depends on what Norway do here.
Egentlig godt å være like tight. Du ikke tappe på nesa på den øvelsen. For tidlig. Det er like tight som jeg var.
Torgeir, han kommer til å runde hele pakka.
Ja, men da får du fryse, da. Hvordan har det vært å tappe litt på nesa på låsen her, da? Bare flytte den litt fram, så ligger vi... Da kan vi døre det. Da ødelegger du hele greia på han, Marco. 10 lag. 8, 8, 9, 8.
Ja, 8, ja. Bra ut.
Tror du det går etter her inne? Skal jeg... Ja. Virker som det er egentlig greit her nå, altså. Ja. Se du spilte på den siste hit, omtrent. Ni! 9, 11! Ja. 11! Ja. Ja.
Ren.
9! Wow.
So we're at the skip stones
Ja.
in this third end.
Ta
Yeah, it looks like they're choosing to play in the house here. Bump things around rather than play a guard. And plays a nice shot. Gets all the angles going away from the stone closest to the middle and starts to move things up a little bit closer to the button to try and create the steal here in the third end.
Tohle se nevymastíme. Můžeme se dostat C1. Okay. Takhle? Správně.
I'm seeing this every end at the moment, but a couple of very important stones for David Sik. To keep in this game.
Well, this is a pretty heroic call here from David Sik. Needs to really get as far back in the forefoot as possible and lie shot position. And get as far around the guards, the two stones at the top of the forefoot as possible too. Almost an impossible task.
Sweeper staying away at the moment. And on it goes. And on it goes. And on it goes.
Ja. Dit. 12 fot der. Jeg tror ikke vi kommer dit på innan, men det... Ja, dra hit da.
Da skal vi gå på outeren og flippen. Olden. Du går ikke? Nei.
Du må skulle bli lena.
Ja, dit. Hvor skal vi ha Isa for å komme dit?
Well, I think the
Vi kan dra på slutten.
Czech Republic's life is going to get infinitely more difficult in a minute.
Jeg tipper noe sånt der. Vi skal holde den i gang nå, altså. Der da.
That was always the risk with the draw call there for David Sik, was that if he didn't make a perfect shot there, once again it was almost going to be almost impossible for them to score. And now Thomas Ulstrud and his team have made their calculations and chosen the perfect spot to place this stone to block that draw for David Sik in his last stone.
Hva tror vi om farten der, da? Det sporet der?
Jeg tror det du spilte på den 3 ganger hit, som var såpass nære, tror jeg kan være fint. Ja, vi kører det. Tror jeg greit. Jeg går på slutten.
So if life wasn't difficult enough before the Czech Republic, it could be about to be even more difficult. Depending on where Thomas Ulstrud puts his last stone.
Well, they're just looking for something on top of the 12-foot circle here. More about the line than the pace. They certainly don't want to be heavy with this.
And that'll do. My goodness, some shot is going to have to come out of the bag here.
Yeah, it needs to either be a draw to the edge of the forefoot, right onto the tee line. They're just looking at whether there's a multiple takeout that might allow them to score. I don't really see it. Options are really just play the draw or play a hit and roll off that red furthest left in the picture, which would be something pretty special.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult?
The hit and roll off the winger? Yeah, it's probably a 7 or an 8. This one's a 10 because it's impossible.
Don't say nothing's impossible.
Well, this is true. There may just be an opportunity
now
to do
you're
it. I'm
changing your
backtracking, but the most difficult one to move is the one that's right in the middle of the centre line. That's going to be the key one to get out of there for them to score.
Right, here we go. David Sik with his last stone.
What will be the outcome?
Well, he certainly launched it. And look at that.
Was that the impossible shot?
That was the impossible shot. He managed to wiggle it right up the centre line.
Very well played by the Czech skip. And he could do with a little bit of something coming his way.
What do I know? Great shot.
Here it is again. And away those red stones go. And the yellow counting. You wouldn't know he'd just played a fantastic shot. Look at him. But they're on the board after 3, Norway 4, Czech Republic 1. And I'm sure that would have given the Czech Republic a lift there, claiming that first point in that third end. Just given that little bit of confidence going into this fourth. But Norway still in a very commanding position.
Well, I've got to say, in the first 3 ends, I think the Czech team have played a lot of good shots, but as soon as they've made any sort of a half mistake, the Norwegians have really punished them for it. And the game could be pretty much dead and buried already had it not been for that magnificent shot there by David Sick.
Yeah, under pressure too. Facing multiple counters, but he pulled it off. Let's see what this fourth end has in store. %79% for Erik Siek for the tournament, which is not too bad going.
I think you're probably going to see him quite a bit down though on Håvard Vod Peterson. It's not really a world-class stat for a lead.
Yeah, at this level, you often find late 80s and even 90s for the leads. Yep, 92%. Vod Peterson.
Yeah, he is one of the best in the business. 92% is a terrific stat.
Seems to do it so effortlessly as well.
That's it. Colleague, that's it.
Check on some other scores now. Russia against Germany. Third end, the Russian skip. Alexei
Stukalski. Now plays a super shot there to score one. Not quite in the same league as David Sick's shot that he just played.
Yep, they get a point on the board. 2-1 after 3 to Germany. Christopher Vaz, accuracy very good as well, 94%.
Yeah, it makes such a difference when you've got a front end performing at that level.
Certainly no errors thus far, really, in this game from Christopher. What about Thomas Paul?
70% the second.
Yeah, when you think about the comparison between Christopher Sva's stat and Thomas Powell, I mean, that's an extra 1 shot played in every 4 stones. It's just a huge difference, really.
Their most inexperienced player, just 3 years on the team. Which team are you following? There are the latest scores on all 4 sheets. Give you an idea of the great action that's taking place here at the Granley Hockey Arena here in Esbjerg, Denmark. Our featured game is this one. It's Norway against the Czech Republic. Norway so far executing the game pretty well.
Yeah, and this has just been the same every single end, hasn't it? Norway relentless with these draws around the centre guard.
This is Radek Bohac's stats. He's 80%. So for a third player, it's not too bad.
Yeah, it's definitely in the ballpark anyway.
So it's their first 2 players that have been struggling a little bit. The first section of play is so important, the setup play, and that's where Norway has really performed well.
Oh, super draw here as well. Does really well to get around those 2 stones at the top of the house, and Norway may be a little bit committed here. They could play the draw, or they could double peel those 2 guards. They could run the stone in the centre line across the red at the 4-foot as well. So the one closest to the house onto the red on the right-hand side and onto the shot stone in the button could be an option.
Det nesten bedre å tappe på, gå litt tight på den og tappe på den. Jeg liker ikke å la de ligge nå. Man har fått det. Ja, jeg mener også gå og tappe den bakkantfart. Ja, du får den til kølle opp der.
Just a reminder, Norway playing the red stones and Czech Republic playing the yellows. This is the first headache the Norwegians have really faced.
Da blokker du den, da.
Så du mener du kan klare å tappe den med bakhånd? Jeg tror
det tror jeg går. Jeg tror det går.
Hæ? Så som min kølla der. Ja. Ok. Var det noe sånt da? Må gå tight på garden. Bare bakkant.
Bare 9er kanskje?
Hæ?
9er.
Ja, men du må nok. Ja.
Tror du ikke det går da?
Coaches on the bench looking on, and you can see the clocks at the back there. How much time each team have left.
Du må holde kølen.
Nei.
Torgen Ergaard, another great start for him, 92%.
9-11. Rent. Ja. 9, bare 9. Bare 9. Bare 9. 8. 8. Her er det. 8, 9. 9. Her er det. 9-11. 9-11. 11.
Well, a risky shot selection. Doesn't quite come off there.
Yep, so a slight mistake for Norway.
Oh, the first one of the game, I think, Alison, which is quite incredible to see playing the 4th end. He's shocked. Can't believe we missed a shot, guys.
That wasn't meant to happen. All depends on what the Czech Republic do. Can they take advantage? Can they make it count for them?
Well, the guard much longer this time, and that should make the same shot a bit easier this time for Torgeir. Just a little bit more time for the stone to be able to curl to get to the angle he needs to hit.
So let's see what he does this time with his second stone.
I think they've got it this time. Perfect shot there from Torgeir Nørgaard. Makes a good adjustment.
And the shot in the last end from the Czech skip. One of the best shots we've seen so far.
Just spreads them all perfect amount to be able to get shot position.
Yeah, it looked an impossible shot. And Thomas says, yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, you never really know what's going on in David Sick's head. You wouldn't know whether he was 10-1 up or 10-1 down. Still has the same demeanour. Quite a good quality to have.
Yep, yeah, he's not giving anything away there, is he? What's he thinking? What's he thinking? 76%. That shot might have helped in the last end.
Certainly helped his confidence. There's a stone in the button now, which David will be looking to try and attach his yellow stone to make it difficult to remove, and of course just to shrink down that scoring area. And this has got a long, long way to go.
It's not going to go anywhere. Certainly not where he wanted it.
Oh, that's not even close. The highs and lows of curling.
Yet again, same expression. Lots of stones in play. Which always makes for an exciting end.
Den er bra, den nå.
Vil du ha meg her?
Den er fin!
Ja. Jeg tror nesten jeg vil ha svar andre veien. Det er bitter, altså. Jeg tror det er mer enn nok køll her. Jeg skal spille heavy draw. Den siden her er heftig, altså. Det er egentlig... Holder du dytten en halv stein?
Ja. Dette er mer enn håralt, ikke sant? Jeg tror det kan være litt tregere, altså.
Skal spille 9-11. 9 eller 8 holder kanskje.
So that stone just played by David Sick all but blocks off that freeze or tab that David Sick was just trying to play. And now Thomas going to try and take away some options on the other side of the sheet.
8, 9, 9, 8! Begynner å bremse det. Fart da. Gå på fart da. Ja. Ja. Lang kølle, lang kølle, lang kølle. Lang kølle istedenfor. Lang kølle. Okay.
Just nudges the red stone up a little bit.
I'm not too unhappy with that.
I think David Sick's maybe trying to find himself another quadruple takeout to play. These red stones look quite nicely lined up.
So this one isn't impossible.
No, but he's going to disappoint us and turn it down. Well, he's certainly having another look at it.
Yep, he's heading back up the ice, as you can see. Let's just have another look at that.
Jako můžeš, no, ale to je úplně stejný jako odsaď.
Já myslím, že jo, když to jdem kolem.
Tam toho prostoru tolik nemáš. Tady, když zůstane zase Guja, tak... Tady máš víc prostoru, Davide, teď. Tady můžeš zůstat klidně otevřený.
Yeah, so while they're thinking about that, let's just check on Sweden against Italy. Swedes 3-0 up. Fourth end now. Smutsson again with the last stone. Can they get any score on the board here? Sweden already in there. Yep, and that looks fine for Italy. They do get a point. Sweden 3, Italy 1 after 4. Back to our feature game. And 6 last stone.
Místo, Erik.
Well, elected the draw in the end, and seems like the most sensible call to me. Could play a fantastic shot with his last stone here by playing some sort of quadruple takeout. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be a very straightforward last shot for Thomas Ulsrud. Does like the chance to score 2 though, taking this option.
So Norway still lying 1 there.
11-9-11. Da har uansett ikke nok innside. Ok, legge på en god halvmeter, vi har ganske mye å gå på det. Ja. Så legger vi egentlig trefferen bare her sånn.
So what will Norway gain in this end, this fourth end? Last stone from Thomas Ulsrud. I think it's looking quite good. Nudges, nudges, nudges. And there we go. Made it look easy.
Thomas Ulsrud always looks quite good, and that was a perfect shot there.
After 4 now, look at that lead. Norway 6, Czech Republic 1. This is the 5th end now of our featured game between Norway and the Czech Republic. And that's a commanding lead for Norway. And if you're the Czech Republic, Logan, what are you feeling right now, apart from pretty bad?
Yeah, I think they just know they're getting owned in this game. They got to say that they haven't been that bad. It's just been the sheer brilliance of the Norwegian team, especially the front end, perfect setup every time, and just making life so easy for the back end.
This is the significant end now, though. If they're going to stay in this game, they need to get a couple of shots. Get into the break and just get themselves back together and get a strategy as opposed to, well, what can you do against a team that's playing so well and doing the simple things well?
Well, I think I'm sure that was probably a rhetorical question, but I think the main thing for the Czech guys is that they just keep plugging away. I think you almost have to hope that your opposition don't keep operating at the level they are at the moment.
We have just seen one mistake from them, from Havard, and that's been the single mistake.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you just have to work on increasing your own level, trying to play slightly better shots than you have been, and hoping that that turns into misses from the opposition, because at the moment they just aren't getting any from this Norwegian side. They aren't forcing them to play particularly hard shots though, but one thing's for sure, the Norwegians are making perfect shots in this game. A lovely hit and roll. Clears the centre play. I think we've just seen a lot of teams be a bit more aggressive there, maybe throw the 2 corner guards when they're trailing by 5, but I think that's maybe a clear sign of the fear factor maybe that the Norwegians have put into the Czech Republic team at this stage. Weren't willing to leave these stones in the centre line, because at the end of the day, every single time Thomas Josef just guarded them up and not really played ball and peeled the guards and run it home. But different situation this time. They don't really have anything to protect on the centre line.
Sí. Dva, malinko strčený rád, Ten kokčit. Dobrý směr. Jenom 2. Jenom 2. To je dobrý směr. 2 je dobrý. Jo. Kolik ještě? Hop.
So they set up the guard.
Snap.
And immediately Norway remove it.
Sorry.
Elsewhere we have sheet D, and it's the Swiss against the Finns. Fourth end. 2-1 to Finland at the moment, but it's their skip with the final stone.
Yeah, here's Aku Kauste.
Looking for a big score here.
Oh, super shot too. Having a good season, Aku Kauste. Puts another 3 on the board there against Switzerland, and perhaps an upset on the cards there.
Yep, good 5-1 lead for Finland. Not as good as this one for Norway at 6-1 against the Czech Republic.
Yep. Hard. Hard. Push. Push. Hard. Whoa.
Ja.
Whoa. Egen. Whoa.
Okay. Løs. Bra. Sorry.
Kraftig hit. Pris.
So Norway lying in shot position. And unfortunately for the Czech team, not really any guards to work with here at the moment. So they're going to have to try and play a freeze, a wide open one. Generally regarded as the hardest shot in curling.
And do you agree with that?
Well, they certainly need to be absolutely perfect playing against this Norwegian side.
So the perfect freeze is the hardest shot in curling, not just a freeze.
Absolutely. If you get it an inch either side, an inch too short, then it's a pretty easy shot just to remove that stone from the house. So
have to be touching.
Yep. So looks like they've got a pretty good line here. Maybe over curling a fraction, just a bit short of pace. And you see, it's only really a foot away from where it should have been, but not going to pose any real trouble to the Norwegians at this point.
Hold! Dømmer ikke! Vanlig! Tjukk hold! Dømmer ikke!
Bra fart!
Ja! Fart!
Bra fart!
Ren!
Litt opp! Litt opp!
Wow!
Wow!
Wow! Ingen rull. Okay.
Now Radek Bohac going to get another chance to try and make this freeze at the back of the house. Just really trying to get it even close enough so that if Norway were removing the stone, then they might be able to take they might have to take the back red stone as well to get it out of there. Then they can separate their two stones in the house nice and level and using the full width of the house.
Oh, is this looking a bit speedy?
Yeah, just a bit of an overcorrection there. And that stone just slips into third shot position, so Thomas Hillsrud will move over and hit the shot rock.
Det er lettere å rulle den veien over nesa, altså.
Ja.
Tror jeg for meg.
Fart!
Ja, jeg vet hvordan det går der.
Ja, du kan jo... 15 eller vanlig, eller 15?
Hæ?
Fart! Tøye var nok vant.
Nei, jeg var ikke det engang. Han vikka. Det er ikke så... Det var faktisk.
Just be looking for a little check inside to lie to.
Vant! Vant opp!
Ja!
Vant opp! Ja! Hard!
Well, was it good enough to lie shot? I think so. If Norway could force Czech Republic to score one here in this fifth end, it would really complete a flawless first half of curling.
Yep, nothing too dramatic, nothing too adventurous, but perfectly done.
Oh, a good look at the slide of David Sick.
Fairly traditional.
Yeah, maybe doesn't have his brush in a particularly orthodox position, but so many different ways to do it that he certainly can get the job done, as we saw in the third end with that wonder shot that he played. And he's played a good one here too. Again, doesn't quite make the perfect freeze, and I think Thomas Hillsrud will be able to just pick that on the outside and maybe lift both yellows. He just really needs to make sure he navigates it past the back red. If he gets too thick a touch on the red stone, as the yellow tries to pass it, then you may well just redirect it to stick on the yellow in the center line.
Borgen, der du spilte pil nå, du satte ganske aktivt.
Ja, det køla litt der.
Ja.
Det var litt lenger inne.
Allikevel,
akkurat der på knekken her, så tror jeg det er greit at vi kan gå litt på den.
So just half-stone connection on the outside of that yellow stone,
Yep.
where Torger's brush is.
And we'll see Ulsrud's delivery here.
Well, I've got to say, technically, very, very orthodox. Yeah,
There we go.
gets the job done. Generally his weaker shot,
Spot on with the angle.
but gets that one absolutely ideal. Well, a straightforward shot here for the Czech skip, but full concentration required.
I'm sure he's very satisfied with the game thus far.
Chest. Very close, look up.
He's played this shot hundreds of times. Concentration required. On stone of this fifth end. Sweeper's just guiding it into the house. Well done to the Czech Republic for securing that point, but they're still a long way behind. After 5, Norway 6, Czech Republic 2.
So here in the second end, here's David Sick trying to make the come around onto the button, facing 2 Norwegian stones. Powell and Sick doing their best to drag it down there, but gives up a steal of 2 in the second end, and Norway off to a flyer, 4-0. Then here in the third end, how many times are we going to see this shot this week? David Sick has a fly at all this red granite around the center line, and watch them go. Super shot by David Sick. Puts one on the board for Czech Republic. 4-1 after 3. And then here in the fourth, David Sick playing a nice draw around to close down the scoring area for Thomas Ulsrud. How many times over the years have we seen Thomas Ulsrud make delightful little soft shots like this? Pushes one onto the button. Scores the 2. And at half-time, it's Norway 6, Czech Republic 2.
Sweden against Italy. 3-1, as you can see, to the Swedes. Niklas Edin with the last stone.
Mycket mjukare satt, men det känns bra.
This end.
Känns där.
And already in there with 2.
Den stenen måste vara lättare. Den här är bara mjuk liksom.
And it's 3. It's 3 for Sweden. And after 5, they have a 6-1 lead. Update on Russia against Germany. 4-1 to Germany in this fifth end. Last stone from the Russian skip. Trying to close that gap. Alexei Stuskalski. A red one already in there. And this one looks safe enough to join it. So they do close the gap with 2 in the fifth end. Russia 3, Germany 4. We haven't seen Switzerland against Finland. 2-5 there, sixth end. And Netherlands against Scotland. Netherlands 4-0 up after 5 on sheet B.
Ale 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 a 2 poslední jmen do výhry. So 1:15.
Okay, let's go.
Great second half.
Thanks. Okay, coach. Yeah, thanks.
Det skal vi sørge for.
Vi sier fra.
Ja.
The one you gave to short, man.
Ja, ja. Hæ?
And there's some stats for you after 5 ends. And not unexpectedly, Norway ahead in every single area. And of course the 2 stolen points as well. All adds up to that 6-2 score so far. So they didn't hang around too long in that 5th end break. Keen to get back on the ice, get things moving again in the 6th end. It's the Czech lead that gets us back underway. And the Czechs knew this would be their toughest game to date, and it is panning out that way. But 6-2 down, you've still got a chance, Logan.
Yeah, well, if you are going to have a chance to get back into the game, then you're going to need to use the free guard zone, which is what the Czech Republic team have failed to do. Quite often you see the ice conditions just speed up a little bit going into the 6th end break. Just gives the ice a chance to cool down a little bit, get a little bit harder, and the stones tend to travel a bit further. So a bit of inexperience shown perhaps there by Gruyère.
This is live coverage from the Gruyère European Curling Championships 2015. We're in the Granley Hockey Arena in Esbjerg in Denmark. Great to have you with us. Hope you're enjoying the action. We certainly are. We're watching a very strong Norwegian team in dominant form in this game against the Czech Republic.
1 plus.
OK. Hezky. A 16.
So with that yellow stone being short of the house on this occasion, it can't be removed by the Norwegians due to the free guard zone rule. So they're going to choose to come around it this time.
Linja bra! Plass som noe. Hvor lang er vi? 6.
Linja gul.
Linja bra. Vær med svar.
5.
Ja, begynner å bli trang.
Kanskje ikke helt dit.
Hard! Hard linje!
5, 6. 6.
Hard linje!
Gjerne, gjerne.
Bra spill over.
Another lovely draw by Håvard.
Thomas Powell, the Czech Republic, really needs to up his game in the second half to get his team back into this.
Yeah, he's really being outclassed and outplayed by his opposite number. Heavyweight second, Christopher Svat.
And there he is. Look at that stat, 94%, and he's 100% in this game. Oh, that's not the kiss of death. If you're a Norway fan, that is.
Well, if there's any criticism of Christopher, is sometimes that he does just let his concentration slip and misses the easy ones. You see him play some amazing takeouts and then
just lets it slip occasionally.
Fine.
Well, they would have liked that guard a little bit closer to the centre line.
Can still be useful though.
Nei. Han må slå der inne før eller siden, så får vi noe lett.
Skjønner du?
Well, they arrive at the sensible call. Thought about removing the 2 stones in the house, but maybe a little bit of an unnecessary risk. Thomas Olsrud quickly reeled in by the players at the other end of the ice.
Já myslím, že jo, že ty jsi to tam tak házel. Ty jsi tam jednou házel, jak toho garda.
Radek Bohatch, 79%, only 68 in this game.
When your opposition's playing so well and you're having to chase the game right from the get-go, then you're going to be playing some really tough shots. And as a result, your statistics are generally going to be lower. Just a thin snick. Does enough to get it to the boards, though. Well, it's just really perseverance at the moment for the Czech team. It should be.
They really are hanging on by their fingernails here.
Well, I think they could throw another guard here. I think by playing into the house, then they give the Norwegians a few chances to try and make a double takeout, score a multiple score. Throw the guard, then you know the Norwegians are going to peel it again. So this needs to be pretty precise here. Well, that's precisely where they didn't want to hit it. Oh, you're not going to win many games doing that.
And he knows it.
Yeah, it's a bad call, badly executed. At least if you make the wrong call, then you've got to go ahead and then at least make the shot. It's much better than making the right call and missing it. But just everything going wrong on that occasion there for the Czech team.
And this would be a 5th consecutive win for Norway, leading the way in the standings. They certainly look on course for that.
Du rád odsaď, tam to docela drželo. Rychlost.
Skoříš to netočil. 20, no. 0. Zkusíme 20.
Rádi byl 80, jo?
Bylo 80.
No. A docela šlupka.
Well, I think the Czech team electing to play a hit and roll in behind the stone in the corner.
76% for the tournament and only 65 in this game for David Sik, the Czech skip.
Yeah, but shot difficult to get through the roof.
Oh, hodně malej.
Doesn't manage to make the roll.
The one game has finished in the arena tonight, and it really is an outstanding win for Sweden. 9-1 over Italy. A couple of threes in there to finish the game off, and they march on to 4 wins and 1 loss. So Sweden coming good too. We expect them to be in at the business end of the week, reigning world champions.
Da kan han rulle lenger også. Han må doble overfor.
Bare rulle sånn at han ikke kan dra shotten, ikke sant?
We're 6-2 to Norway in our featured game here in the 6th end.
Vanlig!
Vanlig! Ja. Vanlig!
Vanlig!
Vanlig! Vanlig!
Ikke vet det. Hæ? Sander? Sami? Or Rabbo? Rabbo?
Well, I think the Czech team probably know that their race is run here, even with 4 ends to go after this end. I think the reality is that Norway are going to score at least 2, and that would put them 6 shots clear. I would think that would be pretty unassailable. Just a fraction too thick.
Yep, a little bit unlucky there from David Sik. And there might be a point where they say, we've got to recharge here. Got our losses. There it goes.
Yeah, all Thomas Hulsrud needs to do here is just hit the paint for 3.
It's been a tough day at the office here for the Czech Republic team and David Sik against a very, very impressive display from this man and his team. They really haven't put a stone wrong.
Should be okay. Bra. Ja, 3.
That's 3 there. So where does that leave us?
Sett på Sander mikken, da.
And that's where it leaves us. A 9-2 lead after 6 ends.
Jsem si chtěl Era plásnout první.
So we are continuing into a 7th end, despite that large lead for Norway, and we have a new player. The alternate is on, Sander Rovag, the alternate for Norway, getting a chance to get a feel for the ice and take part in a game. And it's good for the alternates to get on, Logan, isn't it?
Absolutely, Alison. It's you know, they're really the unsung heroes of a lot of these teams, and they're the ones in it late at night matching the stones for the teams and doing a lot of the prep with these guys, but then they just have to sit and watch for the duration of the game. So yeah, Sander's first appearance at the international senior level anyway in the men's. Of course, he won the World Mixed Championship, the very first one this year in Bern, Switzerland.
I think it's Havard and Peterson that's gone off. He's away for an early bath.
Yeah, how about that? Perfect weight, top 4. He was telling me earlier.
Yep, there he is, job done as far as he's concerned.
Yeah, enjoying a well-earned rest. Sander was telling me earlier that a couple of the guys wanted to go on and practice last night. So Sander's not actually thrown a stone in 2 weeks because he's been out working hard with the team and not necessarily throwing the stones, but maybe holding a brush for them to aim at and giving them that kind of support. So
yeah, it really is difficult to walk in and just start like that, isn't it? You know, for anyone, never mind somebody who hasn't actually thrown many stones of late.
oh, perfect weight control though.
So let's catch up meantime on Russia against Germany. 6th end, 4-3 to Germany. A really tight one this on sheet 8.
Yeah, Alex Baumann again, leading by 1.
Trying to extend their lead. And that looks like at least 1, is it 2? It is 2. So they do increase their lead. Pleased with that. Russia 3, Germany 6 after 6. Look at that lead that Norway have over the Czech Republic here in our featured game. Really just going through the motions here.
Well, does the most important thing and gets the guard off. And does a little bit of Sander's good work in the middle of the sheet, but still less stones in play for the Czech team to use to their advantage.
And it's numbers they need. 1 and 2 is not enough. So if they don't have the stones in play, they can't get the increase. It's been a difficult day for them. And they haven't played too badly at all, but Norway have just been in impressive form.
Well, definitely an opportunity here for Chris Vaat. This is the one that the seconds pride themselves on, the double peel on the corner guards. Quite a difficult one to make. Onto the top side, not quite.
Just misses. You can afford to try these shots at this stage though, with no real pressure in terms of the game. Let's see how the angles and how far away it was. Quite a long way really.
Pojď.
Got to say, I'm not too sure why the Czech Republic team have played on here. They're trailing by 7, and they're playing a team that are playing pretty much perfect curling.
You do wonder what they're gaining by this, apart from just practice, I suppose. But then, you know, practice all week. Preserve your energy, perhaps, would be... I'm sure they have their own reasons for that.
Yeah, the thing is as well that they're practicing open shots, and they're shots that could pretty much end up anywhere. It doesn't really make any difference. There's no real pressure on them. It's just providing a bit of target practice really for the Norwegians.
Jenom 4. 5, 4. Čistit. 4, 5. No, točí hodně asi. Já už nepotřebuju. Ne. Tam chcem dostat. On tam bude. 4. Ne, je tam pořád. Ne.
Nice come around here by Bohach.
And there are all the games going on. One game finished. There's an update for you on all the teams in this men's draw, whichever one you're supporting. All the latest scores and the position in terms of ends. This has been our featured game though, Norway against the Czech Republic. And Norway really haven't put a foot wrong. And looking like, to us, the team to beat certainly at these European Championships.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look across the boards, it's two teams that are running away with their games that you would say are maybe just slightly ahead of the rest. Certainly the Norwegians and the Swedes are the ones that have been dominating the European scene over the last few years. But a few up-and-coming teams out there. It's going to be very interesting to see who ends up in the semi-final with what you would think the two likely lads of Norway and Sweden.
Norway finished runners-up quite a few times in the Europeans, last 3 occasions silver, so gold is definitely their plan this week. They won gold in Chambéry in 2010. There have been 3 finals since then, and it's always been silver.
Yeah, but it certainly looks like there's going to be some inexperienced teams in there at this level with the two giants of the European game. But who's it going to be? You would think that Switzerland and Scotland might be in the mix, but they're both struggling, and Germany are doing well, Finland are doing well. So perhaps we'll see some new nations in the last 4 this week for the semi-finals.
And relatively new to the A division, the Netherlands have performed quite well this week too.
Yeah, they're having a super season actually. Really turning out some surprise results on the tour, making the final in Basel, only to lose out to Brad Gushu. Certainly no shame in that, the standout team on the World Curling Tour so far this year.
Eggen, og så videre. Ok, sitt da. Ja. Håper vi skulle få undersida altså ned.
All smiles from Thomas Ulsrud. It's been a job well done here, very well done in fact.
Budou stát za sebou, nemusí jít jako z úhlu, no. To je 0. On když zůstane stát tady, tak budou oba takhle. Tak to hrajou takhle. Jakou rychlost, Davide? No, tak 20, 0. Okay.
I'm sure Sander is almost willing David Sick to score 2 here and maybe extend this game so he can get a little bit more experience, a little bit more ice time.
All curlers love to take part in the games, the competitive matches, that's what they're all after. We chatted to him this afternoon, he was itching to play, nearly got on another game, and he was all ready, and then they called it quits because Norway were so far ahead.
Yeah, according to Thomas Ulsrud, they saw Sander coming and they thought, oh, now they're bringing out the big guns, enough's enough. So a difficult shot here for David Sick not to leave some sort of opportunity to get rid of these yellow stones for Thomas Ulsrud, but perfectly done.
Really well played from the Czech Republic skip.
Yeah, and even maybe a little bit of celebration there as well from David Sick.
Some emotion. That's a very tasty shot indeed. Was there a smile there? I think there was.
Well, it's not a very long run back here for Thomas Ulsrud. Let's just have another look at how that Yellowstone got in there. Perfect hit and roll. Thomas Ulsrud could play the freeze here, but it would have to be absolutely perfect, and certainly a bit of added risk in playing that shot. I think I'd be quite happy to get one of those yellow stones out of there, and if he gets it really good, he might just be able to stick the red stone at the top of the forefoot onto the shot stone. Well, gets one of them away. Doesn't quite get it perfect. Tough shot, though.
Yeah, it was quite a big ask there. Czech Republic still counting one.
Før eller siden måtte de treffe på noe.
Just a fraction off the nose. You have to spin it off and leave this forefoot draw for David Sick. If he does make this draw, then that will reduce the deficit to 5.
Last stone of this 7th end from David Sick.
Rychlá stopa.
Jenom vy. Jo. Směr je v pohodě, jenom vy. Směr je fajn, jenom vy. Směr mám fajn. Směr je fajn, jenom vy. Fajn. Super.
And there we go. Well played, keeping the concentration going. And a few smiles there in the Czech Republic team. But they're still a long, long way behind after 7. Norway 9, Czech Republic 4.
Vi kan holde det jævlig fint.
So on to the 8th end now. 9-4, as you can see.
Fajn. Super. Hezky.
There's the numbers for you. And really, Norway imposing themselves on this game straight away. Those first 2 ends. Czech Republic on the back foot.
all the way through this.
Okay, 12. Yep.
And Norway feeling so comfortable with their game that they've brought on their alternate for a run out. And they just need really to see the game out in this end. They have the last stone advantage.
Well, and if Sander keeps playing like this, then maybe Håvard will struggle to get back on. Nicely played tick shot there. Pushes the stone into the house, and yeah, it doesn't look rusty at all after his 2-week break.
Yep, it's a seamless introduction, which can't be easy, actually. But he's a very, very good player in his own right, has his own team.
Gruyère, fajn. Nechci si. Bude dobrý. Máme dost. Je dost, nechci ho blíž.
So 9-4. Is there a chance, Logan, for the Czech Republic? I think Norway would really have to implode here, wouldn't they?
Well, absolutely. Alison, I would say there isn't a chance, but the last time I did that, David Sick proved me wrong. So there is still a chance technically, but no, you would think it's highly unlikely. This Norwegian team playing as well as they are. I think the Czech team are just really stringing it out, perhaps trying to get a little bit of ice time out there. Especially for two of the players in the Czech Republic team. It is their first appearance at an international, or a European championship, sorry. So, all valuable playing time.
And you know, playing Norway is an education in itself, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. You've got to learn from the best, and best way to do that is playing against them, really. I'm sure they've watched plenty of games that Thomas Solskjaer played, but actually getting that experience firsthand is really invaluable for them going forward, especially for the two young guys in this team.
Here's a comparison of the seconds, and Christopher Sva really has had a great game.
Well, I think he's gone off the boil a little bit. He's dropped from 100 to 96, so. Oh, nothing for the Czechs to work with here. Got to say, you don't often see David Sick get turned over this easily. He's a very formidable character, tough team to play against, and they always seem to find a way. It's not always the textbook way of doing things, but they always seem to find a way to stay in the games, and they often just kind of sneak up on you. They're a bit of a dark horse.
Yeah, they hang on in there and then pounce, kind of thing.
But
not this time.
Yeah, well, there's not many teams this week who can live with this performance from the Norwegians.
And you know, at the beginning of the week, the teams kind of have an idea of who they have got a really good chance against, and but probably Norway's one of the ones that think, well, on our day we can, but the probability is not likely.
Yeah, absolutely. For a few of these teams, it's certainly the first or the main goal is to make sure they qualify for the World Championship. So they need to qualify in the top 7, top 8 at worst, where they would have to play a challenge game against the winner of the B division. But then after that, they've probably got a fair idea of games that they would expect to win or know they've got a good chance of winning. And then some other teams out there that if they beat them, it would really be just a big bonus, and perhaps take a little bit of the pressure off them to win the games they expect to win. And I think for a lot of the teams, the Norwegians will certainly be one of those teams that almost a bonus win if they manage to pick it up along the way.
Yeah. There's the third comparison for you.
Again, Norway ahead. Peeling away the guard. Nothing in play for the Czech Republic. Two skips, thinking two different things.
Jedna plus dva. Malinký pušík tam, jo. A místa dost. Jedna, dva, dva.
Oh, this 8th end's turning into a bit of a non-event after a super tick shot from Sander Rovag and then a double peel from Christopher Svat. Just nothing for the Czechs to work with now.
And that suits Team Norway just fine. Seeing out this game.
Køla litt her, altså.
A little smile on the Czech skip. Certainly the score looks a little more respectable now. Not that that bothers him, does it, Logan?
No, not at all. At the end of the day,
Whether you win or whether you lose.
Exactly, your performance is measured on wins and losses. And then if it needs to go any further than that, then it's draw shot challenge. There's certainly no shot difference column in the qualification.
Two skips there. And Ozrud heading to the areas.
Jeg skal ikke daffe den her. Jeg var litt myk på den forrige 11 nære linja her.
Ja. Ja.
Ren.
Ja. Bra.
Det var noen pilene du kan tørre å sende i... Så er det utover, noen steder utover, så kan du være litt forsiktig. Da kan de stange litt.
Ja, du kan skyte det på ganske bra.
Skyte det på ganske bra. Hvis det er 100%. Så jeg er litt spent på... Agre med nok de. Ta. Agre med nok de. Masse på mål, ikke stoppe dropp. Nei. Som det sa.
Well, you would think this is going to be David's 6th final stone of the game. You would expect the Norwegians just to score one. I don't think too many teams are going to play on with a 6-shot deficit with 2 ends to play.
Yeah, you would wonder what they would have to gain by that, really. All the sweepers involved in this one, trying to get it in there into a good position. Not that really it's going to make any difference at all.
Yeah, but a bit of a wry smile on the face from David Sick.
Ren.
Ren, ja. Ja.
Oh, just choosing to blank the end actually rather than score one.
Thank you, good luck.
And that is it. It's handshakes. You know, really from the first couple of ends, the win was never in doubt. Victory, another one for Team Norway. a very impressive performance from them. Final score, Norway 9, Czech Republic 4.
So at the conclusion of our featured game, Norway and Czech Republic, we're just moving over to Russia against Germany. Tight game, an exciting game by the looks of the scoreboard, trading a lot of deuces back and forth. No steals so far in the game. We get a look at Alexander Baumann and his German side playing against Alexei Stukalski and his Russian team. Germany just edging it at the moment, 6-5. And they do have the last on advantage here in the 8th end. Already lying 2. Plays a tap up. Not too sure what they were trying to do there, but they've certainly given the Russians a chance to come around and freeze. If they were playing that shot, they certainly needed to stay high side of the tee line. Still just lying 2 for me. That Redstone cutting the 8 foot looks to be out counting the shot just played. By Walter Manuel. Here's Alexei Stukalski, the 27-year-old skip. Played a variety of positions in this team, certainly over the last 4 or 5 years. But super shot maker. Yeah, and actually, Alexei Stukalski was the alternate last year, so starting position this year. Just creeps a foot too far there with his first stone. Oh, the stone in a useful position for the Germans. They can't just run it back. So Alex Baumann trying to play the raise on this wide yellow. Oh, perfect shot. Absolutely spot on there from Alex Baumann. Makes the short raise, but sticks it in front of the tee line. Well, this is going to have to be a good one here for the Russians if they want to have a realistic chance of winning this game. Certainly can't afford to give up a multiple score here in this 8th end. So just doing a little bit of tidying up there when the stones just sneaked over and touched the foam, so Walter Manuel getting rid of it. Well, tough shot here for Stukalski, 81% for his 8 draws he's played so far in this game. But the good news is that he has just thrown it, so I should have a good idea of the speed and the line. Super shot. Nicely done there by the Russians, and well swept too. Holding off until the absolute last moment to bury it in there.
Den? Kann auch nichts passieren. Wie ist denn der einfacher? Ja, stimmt. Ja. Von innen? Müssen wir von innen? Ja.
Well, what's Alex Baumann saying here? A little bit of a circus shot to try and get this redstone out of there. You see it's pretty much fully buried. He doesn't really have any other option. But maybe, just maybe, you can play off that wide yellow stone next to Manuel's brush. Go into the side of that yellow stone on the tee line and push that red out the side of the house on the other side. Well, look at that. Managed to get shot stone somehow. I think it's exactly what they were trying to do, but let's have another look. Just hits it a fraction too thick and hits the top side of that yellow, pushes it underneath the red and onto the button to score 1. How about that? Couldn't have done that if he tried. And after 8 ends, it's Germany 7, Russia 5. Well, terrific. A slightly fortuitous final stone of the 8th end by Alex Baumann to score 1, but we can't forget that super draw played by Alexei Stukalski that really has kept this game alive for Germany. Only trailing by 2, could have been as many as 5 if he hadn't made that last stone. And still very much in the hunt, the Russian team. Anton Kalal. Throws the corner guard up, and here's Sebastian Schweitzer, the 35-year-old lead. It doesn't look 35, Alison.
999.
Ah, but how old does 35 look?
999.
Well, just fraction too heavy and doesn't quite get the stones lined up. And that could be useful, that pocket generated with those two yellow stones for the Russian side. If they could ever freeze one in there at some stage, it would of course be extremely difficult to remove.
Germany have been ahead the whole of this game. It's Anton Kalal, the lead. Russia in this new look team.
Yeah, some of the young guys starting to come through. No sign of Big Peter drawing this year, and Andrei Drozdov, of course, has been put to the bench meantime, but it always is a changing lineup.
And really, since the European Championships were held in Moscow, seemed to get the interest going. 2011, I think. A lot of good young players.
Yeah, and they've done well to really cement themselves in the A division over the last few years.
Yep, they have been an ever-present. This is Artur Razabov. He's 26. The second.
Линия отличная. Линия супер, мужики. Вот сюда. Сип. Сип. Вау. Вау. Хорошо.
So a bit of cat and mouse at the moment. The Russian side just really throwing up those corner guards, expecting the Germans to peel it straight off. Mark Muskatovits. One of the younger players in the competition, just 19 years old. So the Russian side just trying to run the German stones down a little bit before they start to make a play. Maybe expect them to go in a little bit earlier than usual, just with that opportunity around two yellow stones at the top of the forefoot. They do present a bit of a threat as well.
This is Manuel Volta, the third for Germany. Lives in Karlsruhe, been on the team for 6 years or so. Played in the European Championships in 2014. Evgeny Arkhipov, 23-year-old Russian third. From Moscow, on this team for 3 years now. Silver in the World University Games. And 6 in the Europeans in 2014. An experienced player now for his 23 years.
Yeah, and there's handshakes on sheet B. Scotland starting to find themselves in a little bit of trouble. That's the kind of game that they need to be winning if they want to be featuring in the playoffs. Losing out by a very convincing scoreline.
But what a performance this week from that young Dutch team. Really are the talk of the week so far.
Yeah, the Scottish side conceding 6 steals on the bounce to start the game. That's just not going to win you games at this level. Meanwhile, in our featured game, look at that miss by Falter. Manuel. So things just got a bit more interesting here for the Russians. And we've got another handshake over on sheet D. Finland seeing off Switzerland.
Yep, Switzerland found themselves getting back into that game, but just couldn't catch up. Finns 5-1 up at some point, but they secure the victory. 9-5. So just one game left on in the arena here at the Granley Sports.
Well, Arkhipov doesn't really make the most of that situation. And maybe a chance for Germany to try and get a third one into that 4-foot circle, either by hitting off the wide one or even freezing that stone just in front of them.
Ich finde den eigentlich ganz gut. Ja, aber dann sind sie nah beieinander. Mit 0. Nee, ein Roll.
Well, they've elected the hit and roll once again. That red stone just played by Arkhipov, not sitting in a great position, makes that double takeout on the 2 yellows difficult for Russia.
Whoa! Whoa! Yep! Yep! Oh! Oh! Yep! Hold! 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 Hold!
Oh, super hit and roll there. Oh, Stukalski maybe sees something here. Can he get a few of these yellows moving? Another look at this hit and roll. Called and executed. And Germany lying 3.
Чуть-чуть сюда, этот сюда. Да. Средний тейк. Ну там можно, чтобы они разошлись. Надо из центра их вытаскивать. Он, видишь, центр сейчас сыграл.
So the last game out there, Russia and Germany.
Туда чуть-чуть растолкнуть их. И вниз должен пойти наш. Ну да, он чиркнет там чуть-чуть.
Well, he's pretty handy with the high hard one as Alexei Stukalski. Just looking for this one just high side of the nose. And maybe he can get a few of these yellows going. Well, a clever shot gets rid of 2 yellows and All of a sudden, that yellow in the forfeit circle looking a little bit precarious. Good shot there by Alexei Stukalski.
Ja, aber er kriegt trotzdem die Chance. Das ist ein Quatsch, Nase ist Quatsch. Mit 80 kommen wir. Weniger. Come up. Whoa. 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 Oi.
Well, hits and rolls to the outside, and now Stukalski and Russia have a chance to hit and score 3.
А так не получится? Сюда попадет.
So this is a well-worked opportunity by the Russians. Used the corner guard well, used the pocket freeze at the top of the forfeit well, and it resulted in this opportunity. So final stone of the 9th end. Super shot. 3 on the board for Russia. And a one-shot lead coming home. Russia 8, Germany 7.
You're watching live coverage from the Gruyère European Curling Championships 2015. We're live from the Granley Hockey Arena in Esbjerg in Denmark. Great to have you with us, watching this final match of this draw. Russia against Germany, 8-7. Russia ahead. Been a tight game all the way through.
Not great hammer efficiency by either side. Sorry, force efficiency by either side. But good high-scoring game. And looks like it could go either way here, coming down the last end.
Schönes Ding. 26. 6.
There's the results for you in the other games in this men's draw. Some big wins. Not too many close games actually, apart from this one.
Yeah, very one-sided session. Only one of the other games making it to the 9th end, never mind the 10th.
This would be an important win for either of these teams. They're in the mix in the mid-table.
Yeah, both teams tied at 2 wins and 2 losses. A win here would move them into tied 3rd position with Finland on 3 wins and 2 losses.
And defeats here tonight for Scotland, for the Czech Republic, Switzerland, and for Italy. Comparison of lead players. Schweizer.
Sieht lang aus. Curl und sit. Okay.
Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see how confident the Russian team feel after that excellent 9th end, how hard they actually push to try and win the game here in the 10th end. Of course, there is a risk attached to that.
Well, they'll have been on both sides of the coin. They'll have been in the position of Germany too. So it's all in the concentration, the approach, the attitude at the tail end of the game.
Yep.
Well, it will be a slightly controlled risk, I would say, from the Germans. Certainly want to make sure they can get in there to score 1 and try and steal worst case scenario. I think they'll think that this is their best opportunity to win the game here, to try and score 2 in the 10th end. Probably fancy their chances more of that than scoring in the extra end.
You should always go for your plan A. There shouldn't be a plan B, just a revision of plan A. Comparison of the seconds. Skatovic and Razabov.
Линия сама пока. Цып! Давай, мужички! Цып!
Having to work hard with this one. Got a few calories burned there, but into a good position.
Well, a nice draw as well. They could have just peeled the corner guard there and certainly would have improved their chances of just taking it to an extra and having the last stone, but making the aggressive call and trying to make sure Germany have got a tough shot to play to extend this game.
Top up. Hou weg. Nein, nein, nein. Okay, okay. Okay.
Well, mistake. Hits and rolls out of the rings. And now Russia will probably peel the corner guard.
Сделаем тэп, какой-нибудь бешеный ролл поймает сумасшедший, как обычно. Уберем гард, пойдем на экстра-энд, с последним камнем будем. Пойдем на экстра-энд, говорю. Ну что? Ну подъедь сюда, у нас время.
Well, my Russian's a little rusty, but I believe the discussion is whether they feel like they've got good enough stone in the house to protect and try and steal the game here, or whether they just peel the corner guard and play safe to go into an extra end with the last stone to give their best chance of winning.
Yeah, that's quite a big decision.
My gut feeling is that the red stone in the house isn't in a good enough position to justify throwing a guard here, so I would expect Russia to arrive at the decision just to peel the corner. Well, I'm wrong, not for the first time today. The guard's been elected. Don't mind them throwing the guard here. I just would have been more likely to call it if the red was slightly closer to the button. At the end of the day, Alex Baumann, the way stones sit at the moment, will always have the 4 foot to draw to take it to an extra.
Wow. 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 Yes. Отлично, фриз давай. Цып! Давай, давай, давай.
Just runs a little bit too far.
Ich finde den erstmal ganz gut.
Walter Manuel just going to try and tidy up the center line. He'll be trying to make a rollover behind the corner guard. That really is the key to scoring 2 here. Well, certainly does the most important thing and sticks around. So plenty of time really left for both teams. Just a few stones to come, and of course it is thinking time, not the old-fashioned running time, where the time of the stone running down the ice was also factored in.
Вес. Поднять.
Pretty even at third position, both of them in around that 80% mark.
Вались, да.
Well, not a good shot there by Arkhipov. Opens up the center of play. And now are Russia going to be made to regret that call and not removing the corner guard? Germany certainly have the chance.
Kommt Jungs, springen rein. Komm hart Jungs. Fest Jungs. Fest, fest, fest. Komm zurück. Komm zurück hierher. Komm, go, 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 go.
Well, needs to get into shot position.
Oh, no.
Well, great sweeping there by Muskatowicz, and Schweitzer gets it down into shot position, but really needed to make more of that opportunity. Still wide open from the hack. So quiet in here, you could hear a pin drop. Alexei Stukalski. With a soft weight takeout here.
Поднять. Поднять. Поднять.
Well, the slight difficulty here for Stukalski. Oh, doesn't manage to get the yellow out of there. Big mistake by the Russian skipper. So where do you go here if you're Alex Baumann to give yourself the best chance of the deuce? Looking to split the rings here, it looks like. So that red stone at the back of the house, quite a useful stone for the Germans. They could come down and freeze on it. Maybe a little bit too far. You might encourage Russian skip to just play a draw around the corner guard if that was the case. So needing to carefully pick their spot here. It's not as simple as just splitting the house. I certainly want this one to be a little bit closer to the centre than the other yellow, but at the same time, they don't want to leave a double takeout. No, nicely done. But just by going that little bit wider and further away from the centre of the rings, it does leave the possibility of that draw around the corner guard for Russia to lie in shot position. Not much room to work with, however.
Чуть меньше 2. Еще меньше, Жень. Да.
All even at fourth as well. Nothing between them.
Come on, nimm durch. Come, go, go, go.
Well, the sweepers
Hard, hard, hard.
are stepping back from
Komm,
this
gib
one.
alles. Komm, drück, drück, drück,
Walter
drück,
Manuel
drück. Hard.
thinks he can get it through. No problem. Game over.
Thanks for the game. Good luck. Thanks for the game.
And I wonder if there'll be a tactical discussion in the post-game debrief there.
Thanks for the game. Good luck.
Didn't peel the corner guard and were made to suffer for it. Final score, Germany 9, Russia 8.
Das ist doch meiner. Scheiße.
Schönes Spiel.
Locker.
Well, here in the third end. Shot of the week so far, David Sick facing piles of red granite. And just watch them all fly. Super shot, spreads them all far enough. Look at that Yellowstone lying at the top of the 8-foot. Score of 1 for the Czech Republic. And a 4-1 lead for Norway after 3 ends here. In the 4th end, here's Norwegian skip Thomas Ulsrud with one of his signature tap-ups. Just had to move these 2 red stones a foot and does so perfectly. Onto the button, scores 2 and extends their lead to 6-1. And then here in the 6th end, really the final straw for the Czech team. Just had to hit the paint to score 3. A formality for somebody of Thomas Ulsrud's class. And then after a couple more ends, David Sick offers a handshake. And the final score, Norway 9, Czech Republic 4.
And in the other games this evening, it was Russia 8, Germany 9, Netherlands 8, Scotland 2, Switzerland 5, Finland 9, and Sweden 9, Italy 1. Well played, Thomas. How would you rate that performance?
It's pretty good. Norway's actually got off to a really good start there, and the guys are playing really good at the time. I think I haven't seen them this sharp a whole year, so it's easy to play skip for Team Norway at the moment.
So why is that? What's made the difference, do you think, this year?
I think we had a couple of trips over to Canada to play some tough competition there, and did okay on the last tournament we went over, and that made us look a bit sharper as a team. So I think the guys are more precise, and that makes my shots easier. So yes.
Where does the Europeans rank in your desire to win things?
Always up there, and especially this year. I think a European champion gets invited to this special tournament, so like Champions Cup over in Canada. So, and of course, it's qualification for getting to the Worlds. I think we're looking good at the moment there, and but it's always good to get a medal in the Europeans, you know. And I'm aiming for the gold right now.
Do you feel you've been severely tested, and if so, if you haven't, who do you think will test you now?
I think always we have Sweden and Switzerland left, but hey, I can't complain. I haven't played 10 ends yet, so I'm not complaining.
Well played, well done again.
Thank you.
Thomas Ulrud there, and that just about ends our coverage, but we'll just update you on the standings. Norway looking good, 5 wins and no losses. Sweden high on in there behind them, 4-1, 3-2, Finland, Germany and the Czech Republic. And further down, also 2 and 3 for the Netherlands, and Scotland and Italy 1 and 4. And that ends our coverage of this men's draw. Thanks for joining us. From me, Alison Walker and Logan Gray. Bye for now.